you touching on like kind of going away from social media. I kind of wanted to start there if we could. You haven't. I think your first post on Instagram right now is from like July 23. I want to read some of this. You said, I've been away from.
To hear what this is.
You said I've been away from social media for years now, half a decade, and just attempting to write this post, I instantly became self-conscious about all my life decisions and plans moving forward. I've been gone, but I haven't been inactive. In fact, I've been more active than ever. And soon I'll share more about my journeys and the things I've learned. But a lot has changed. What was the?
Was penning it though. That boy was like a poet with it.
What was the idea with leaving social media? What brought you back? And maybe you can just touch on just longevity.
Why I left social media. When I really actually sat down and like stopped really engaging was during like the pandemic and that like last presidential run. Like, yo, I was just so fed up with just like everything that I was seeing, like the bickering and the fighting, people falling out. Like, it was just too much drama. Yo, I just needed to like cleanse my brain and my palate, you know? And so I willingly and happily, you know, just like shut it down and stop checking in. I didn't make some like big declaration to everybody to say I'm not doing this, like you do with the smoking, you know what I'm saying? But I just did it. I just stopped, you know, engaging. And I did it for so long and it became so easy that now trying to be active on social media again and remembering to check it and post it and check my messages and all of that, like it's work. It's hard to do. Like I got hundreds of messages online that I just like, every time I go to look at them, it's just like daunting. I was just like, I'll do it tomorrow. So
that's interesting. So it wasn't even for like creative reasons. It was like the world was just
it was just like I was just kind of like done with it. You know what I'm saying? It just felt like better for me at the time.
Well, I guess what got you back on social media, and do you even think being online is like necessary for you and the type of fan base you have?
So what got me back on social media is putting out music. It's all I really use it for. It's my platform. You know what I'm saying? Like that's why I should be checking my messages more. But it's my platform. It's just for music, and I know that like that's the best way to reach my fans.
But also I do want to say this, like it is like, because I'm managing them and we also own a record label together, right? So like I'm working with them hands on, like this part of it, like the checking the messages and being consistent part, he does struggle with. But I will say, you do love the parts where like you get your fans quote lyrics. That's your favorite thing ever. If somebody quotes a Nick Afro, like that's his thing. Like if he can get a lyric quote, he's like that's his thing. But he loves like when his fans are like talking about his music. So like you do see some type of benefit besides like the fact that like it's just a platform. Like you actually get to like have like those like conversations and really see who's fucking with you and stuff like that too, right?
And it fuels the fire. You know what I'm saying? Like it puts that battery in my back. Even just like in boosting my confidence and what I'm putting out there, and because I put a lot into the music, like personally. So, you put it out, you want people to rock with it. So like, even it's funny. I was talking to niggas be asking me like, yo, how you still like get butterflies before you drop a project? You know what I'm saying? Like you got mad albums, but at the same time, it's just like, yo, I want people to rock with it. You know what I'm saying?
It means something to you.
And it means something. So like, seeing that engagement and the interaction and like people like holding on to the lyrics and like actually listening to what I'm saying and trying to understand what I'm talking about and where I'm coming from, it means a lot, because that expression is just like how I kind of like deal with life. Like I still have yet to talk to a therapist, and I kept saying I was going to do this, you know what I'm saying, for some time. But like the past year I've been saying, yo, I'm going to find a therapist and try therapy out. Not that I got a bunch of issues, but just literally just to talk, just to try it. Like I've never tried it, right? But I do it through the music though. And I kind of always I'll use that to kind of like self-analyze and self-assess, you know. And so when people can feel me and fuck with what I'm saying and understand where I'm coming from, it does mean something.
Yeah, I feel like if you're an artist, like a writer, you pretty much you taught yourself the skill that most like normal people will learn from a therapist, which is how to express yourself. If you think about it, a lot of people really just don't know how to express themselves.
Yeah.
That's actually like a skill you got to cultivate. So when you're, like you said, you're self-analyzing, you're actually writing
right now. He preaching right now, yeah.
Like but yeah, so I think artists maybe they already kind of know they have those tools. You know what I mean?
That's a fact.
And to be able to like look at yourself objectively and be honest, right? Because that's where like a lot of it comes in, like where you analyze yourself and look like, because what we all kind of like are the common denominator between most people are the points where we're weak. You know, like whether it's you fall weak to your vices or you have certain insecurities or whatever it is. And so if you can find like what it is that's really making you tick and you can question yourself, why did I just do that? Why did I just say that? Why did I react this way? You get that understanding, it'll lead you to a truth, you know what I'm saying, that you might be able to use to communicate with other people and that people can resonate with. And so in my writing process, it's a lot of looking internally, you know?
Yeah, I've thought about that before too. Like, we grow up and we listen to these artists, right? And a lot of times they're older than us. Like, we'll be in middle school, high school, listening to people like 20s, whatever, 25. And as a kid, like, they're literally like teaching you like about yourself and how to look at life, how to question what's going on, like how to express feelings that you're feeling as a kid, but you haven't figured out how to say them yet, how to put them in words. So I think that's why we like look up to these artists. But then also, it's like you get older. Like, I know I got to a certain age, and you kind of stop looking up to artists because now you're like that adult.
You realize everybody's human.
For yourself.
Yeah, you realize everybody's human. You know what I'm saying? We're just, going through the same shit. You know what I'm saying? But you should add a little bit to that. Like, all right, you have people that you could look up to and get to a certain level. Like, do that same for like the generation below you. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that those next people coming up, make sure you extend that energy or get some type of form of that to the youth as well. You know what I'm saying? Like, and the people coming up. You know what I'm saying? Because that's how we build. Like, if you didn't have anybody to look up to, you might have been like a real horrible person. You know what I'm saying? And done horrible things because there's no motivation or there's no standard or model to build yourself off of.
Guardrails, like, definitely don't do this.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Like, yeah, and that's why it is like, as much as I'm a very big person on like, I think anything goes with music. Whatever the fuck you want to do, go ahead and do it. Doesn't mean that people are going to appreciate it, right? But, you got to be very careful with like what you consume in general. You know what I'm saying? Because like you said, there were artists that we listened to, even like very like raw artists like Eminem, right? Who said crazy things, especially when we were younger, right?
And he dropped a new album this year. It's a White Boy Summer.
Yeah. He had like introspective stuff in there, but he had a lot of wild shit. And I did a lot of the wild shit that he said to do in his songs.
Like what, bro? He has some real wild shit.
Okay, I wasn't killing my mom and and things like that. But like, as far as like getting in trouble in school and like making my teacher's life a living hell was like my goal in middle school. Like, that's all I lived for.
You're talking to the plant. Look.
Yeah, like real shit. I just wanted to have like some type of like, like he just had some type of impact on my life in that period of time. It was literally like 6th through 8th grade. Like the worst, probably the worst time too. So, not saying that like to put blame on Eminem or something. I'm just saying like, as much as you say there's good things too, there's also like out there like those like negative things that can come out of it. Yeah,
there's bad influences out there.
Yeah. And we see a lot of that. You know what I'm saying? We see people mimicking, the bad things too, as much as, not as, I don't want to say as much as, but, when it does happen, it stands out a little bit more, I guess.
Bro, I always say hip hop to me is like the rawest form of independent journalism.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? I don't know. Any thoughts on that?
Nah, I agree 100%. That's what drew me in when I was young, right? Like, So I was a military brat, moved around a lot. I used to live down here in Hampton. I used to live off Fort Monroe.
Really?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, first comic book store I ever went to was Bender's down there off Mallory. But that's what like locked me in with like the culture when I was growing up, was like I was able to go and visit these different places and see these different things through the rap that I was listening to. I'm 5th, 6th grade. I never been to Cali, right? But I told my dad, yo, when I grow up, I want a 6'4". Nah, in fact, I said, yo, I want a 6'4". And I was like, I want a 6'4" with hydraulics. My
dad, how you know about that?
That's exactly what he said. Like, yo, what you know about a 6'4"? Like, I used to have one of those. What do you mean? What do you know about that? You know what I'm saying? But to me, that's what I was listening to. You know what I'm saying? I got to see what I got to see what Cleveland was like. East 1999 Eternal, right? Like, I got to, smell the pissy hallways and elevators of New York, saw the rats, you know what I'm saying? Saw it all through the music. And so this was at a time where we didn't have these devices in our hand, you know what I'm saying? Where I couldn't just go online and see, videos and documentaries and all this stuff about all these different places. It was the music that showed me. You feel what I'm saying? It was the books that I read or the magazines that I got, but that's how I traveled the world. And that's how I got to see the country growing up. It was through the artists and the rappers who was doing that journalism.